Hi everyone, this is Chris Bowers of Mighty D, although since I'm playing this on Mighty D, you probably already knew that. So I'm here with Dan Hunter of Casino Free Philadelphia, because casinos are one of the major issues swirling around in Philadelphia right now, both in terms of a progressive movement and just a people's movement and a reform movement. And I just thought it'd be something worth talking about. So Dan, thanks for doing this.
Thanks so much for inviting me on.
Sure. And I guess my first question is, most of my readers are national, so could you explain why Casino Free Philadelphia? What brought that on? What is the issue with casinos in Philadelphia?
Right. So in Philadelphia right now, 2 casinos have been selected to be built in Philadelphia. It's the first time that casinos are being built right in neighborhoods in an urban area. So one of the casinos, Sugar House Casino, is being built about 100 feet from people's homes. And the second casino is Foxwoods, which is in South Philly, which is a old neighborhood where again it's being built close to homes, but also under sort of very terrible traffic positions, and otherwise it's just sort of a notorious site. Both of those sites were rated poorly. They're seen by most people outside experts as bad sites, ugly sites. They don't make sense for all sorts of logistical as well as social reasons. What kind of influence does it have to have a casino with 6 liquor licenses right next to homes?
Yeah.
And so in Philadelphia, what we've seen is there's a lot of corruption in the city, and the mechanism by which casinos have come has been very much by buying off politicians and through insider politics. So what we've done is we've built an alliance with civic associations, many of whom had because they came in so in such a sleazy, sort of sneaky way. Many people didn't even know about them. So what we've done is put forward a referendum to say that there should be a buffer around homes, schools, places of worship of 1,500 feet between those and casinos. And that seems to make sense to people. 79% of people, when polled, say, yes, that makes sense as a concept, as a basic minimum standard.
And so you actually, it had overwhelmingly popular support, and it was, I believe, a referendum question that you managed to acquire enough signatures to get it on the ballot. But what happened then?
Right. So as you said, we put 27,000 signatures to put this on the ballot. And then the casino industry sued to stop this from being voted on. It's going to be voted as a legally binding referendum. And the casino industry said, no way.
Yeah.
We don't want this. Not a good deal.
Especially since they probably had poll numbers showing it was going to win.
That it was also going to win. Right, exactly. And so they got the Supreme Court to rule in their favor. And again, there's suspicion about the Supreme Court in terms of insider politics.
Pennsylvania judges are elected.
And many of those folks have relationships.
Yeah.
And so forth. So this referendum isn't going to go on the ballot on May 15th. And instead of being offered a choice on whether or not to create casinos with a minimum standard, people will see a sticker that says removed by court order.
Yeah.
What we decided to do when presented with this, which was only just about a week and a half ago, and we said, well, in Philadelphia politics, when the people get hit, they're taught and they're supposed to just stay down. We said, instead, we're going to come back at them. What we're going to do is we're going to set up our own election.
Yeah.
And we're going to set up a citizens' election on May 15th, where outside of every polling place that we can get to, and we'll certainly do a polling place in every state house district for each of the state representatives. We'll set up an alternative polling place, which will be right outside the polling place. They'll have their own ballot box, which is actually a 4-foot ballot box. It's a gorgeous entity. And people will have a chance to vote on exactly this question. We'll do it at polling places. We'll also do it at other locations around the city, highly frequented areas like City Hall. What we'll be doing is we'll be making sure that all of that is cross-referenced with voter database, so that people can be confirmed. So it'll prevent any kind of ballot stuffing or any other kind of shenanigans on the day of.
It's certainly an unusual tactic. I mean, is there anything comparable to this in recent politics? I can't think of anything.
Well, the last time, it's certainly not been done recently. The last time that something like this has happened was 1963, and the Mississippi Democratic Freedom Party, which was organizing their own elections based on the fact that black folks weren't allowed to vote. And so they organized their own election. It's got 90,000 people to vote in it. And that's the last time that this kind of thing has happened. And we see it as an interesting model, which is, certainly like we think it's useful for other folks on the casino issue, but also for any issue that's not getting attention or that's having trouble making it into sort of government politics officially.
What's supposed to be the outcome here? Like, what's the hope with this? I don't know, mock election. Maybe that's not the term you want to use to describe it.
Well, we're calling it a citizens' election.
Yes, yeah.
And because there's a couple of things, which is one, it does actually give us some really good information about where people stand.
Mm-hmm.
But more than that, it's putting political pressure on the state representatives who originally gave us this gambling act in the first place. And so what we're doing is we're creating a politically binding mandate, really is what we're working for, to put pressure on the state reps to say, look, the majority of people in each of your districts are also saying this standard makes sense, and therefore you should go ahead and support it. And so what we're doing is putting pressure that way. And it's a great organizing opportunity, which is if you want to organize active voters, there they are.
And the state house elections are 1 year to the day after these elections.
Bingo.
So that certainly can make a big difference. Another interesting thing about this election is that even though this election isn't legally binding, and the casinos who already threw you off the ballot are actually trying to run against you in this election that you're organizing yourself. I mean, could you explain about that?
Well, that's right. So, we launched just 2 days ago. We officially launched this publicly. And, we launched at philliesballotbox.org, launched itself, and then immediately afterwards, the casino industry started running a telemarketing operation, where they did a phone banking operation to call people around the city in support of Sugar House, which is one of the casinos. And so I think it's great. I mean, sometimes, we don't take ourselves too seriously. So, we say that they're spending real money on a fake election. But the fact of the matter is, they understand that public opinion matters. And that they do actually want to win as much as they can, even in a fake election or in, a citizen's election. We do like
an alternative election.
Alternative election, yes. We like to consider ourselves real. But the fact that, it's great, and it's really representative of the fact that they're taking this seriously. Which is, even though this isn't, as you say, legally, binding it matters. And this is sending a real message. And so that's one reason why we want to invite certainly all of your, MyDD watchers and other folks to join us.
How can they help out? What can they do?
Well, there's a couple of things, which is one, we're inviting people to come join us on Philadelphia on May 15th. We've got places where people can come in and crash for the night. And there's people coming from DC and people from Boston, people from, I think someone from Richmond, Indiana is coming in.
And also the space they're in is beautiful and gorgeous. It's in an art gallery, so it sort of answers my old question of how do you combine art and politics. It's already accomplished right here. So, anyways,
we're also always looking for financial resource, which is if there's people who can donate financially. We like to.
Are you a 501c3 or C4 or?
We're actually both.
You're both.
So people who want to donate to get the tax deductible.
Some donors love that C3.
Yeah, they sure do. So we have a fiscal sponsor, 501c3 fiscal sponsor, so people can donate that way. But we're, one of the things that we're also looking for is people to write about this, which is this is an interesting story. We think that the casino industry doesn't want to get out because they are susceptible to public opinion. But also, I think that what this is about is this really is about citizens taking back democracy. And so while the issue of casinos is sort of there's a larger issue about do people have control over their neighborhoods? Do citizens really have input on how major development? These are huge, huge buildings that are being built just across the street from where people live. And do people have input and control over that kind of development in the city?
And that's something that goes beyond Philadelphia.
Right.
As well.
Right. And the fact is that we're terrifying them, and that they're desperate enough to try winning in our election. Which is just again, I think
love that.
Fascinating and great.
Well, thank you very much, Dan. I really appreciate it.
Really appreciate it. Thanks so much, Chris.
I look forward to helping out between now and election day.
Great. Absolutely. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Dan.